We have breaking news this coming out of the state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth. Plymouth Superior Court judge has just made a major ruling in the civil case against Karen Read. The judge, William White Jr., has ruled that Read will not be deposed in the wrongful death lawsuit against her until after her second criminal trial wraps up. That is scheduled to take place at the end of January. You recall that this is a civil lawsuit brought on by the family of the Boston police officer, her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, who she's accused of killing that snowy night. And this wrongful death lawsuit also includes the bars and the bar owners in which they visited before his death that night. Again, the judge ruling that she will not be deposed before her second criminal trial. Remember that first trial that spanned about 3 months long there in the state of Massachusetts in the small town of Canton that really divided that community, ended in a mistrial. Let's bring in our guest to discuss this. We have Michael Jaffer, national criminal attorney. No surprise, Michael, that the judge made a ruling that the civil trial can't take place until after the criminal is wrapped up.
I agree with the judge's decision. Look, I hate Karen Read. I detest this woman. I want to see her convicted in her next criminal case, but I want to see it done the right way, right? Had the judge not done this, obviously it would have divided the community further because she's created this whole entire conspiracy hoax. She's made the whole thing up. And so because of that, there's division in that community that she sowed herself intentionally to deflect attention from herself. With that being said, the judge could have forced her to go forward with the deposition and she would have just invoked her Fifth Amendment privileges, and that would have created a negative inference in the civil case. It could not create a negative inference in the criminal case that's going to come, but it would have created a negative inference in the civil case. But then it would have just played into her whole entire narrative of, look, the whole system is against me and I'm a heroine who's fighting to protect the system. I think the judge made the right decision. I'm proud of the decision. I think the decision was right. I don't think she should have been forced to move forward with the deposition in her civil case. It could wait. Her criminal case is right around the corner. This could wait. Civil cases last years, by the way. They're not like criminal. They last years. And so this is not, it would have been way too fast to force her to be deposed before the criminal case. And obviously the attorneys for the family wanted it done this way. They also made the right move. It was a chess move to force her to toe the line and file this motion. And so everything happened the way it should happen. The system worked for now, and I'm proud of the decision that the judge did.
Yeah, and the threshold, to remind our viewers, is much less in a civil case than it is a criminal case. But again, that deposition could have been used against her in court because she would have been under oath. It's almost making her testify before the next jury gets the case. But, you know, what could be used in court, what wasn't used in the first trial but is still on the table, is all of the interviews that she's been doing on national news.
Yeah, by the way, I hate this woman, and I hope she puts her foot in her mouth. I hope that she has enough, basically, metaphorical rope to basically hang herself with her interviews. She's a narcissist. Again, these are my opinions, obviously, not that of anybody else. My opinion is she's a narcissist, and she's worried about one person and one person only, Karen Read. I'm not saying she's that thing because of the fact that she defended herself and she pled not guilty and she vigorously defended herself. Everybody has a right to do that. That's not at all the problem. The problem is when you defend yourself, but then you lie and you blame an entire community and a police department that has been riddled with its own controversy to do that in order to deflect attention from yourself so that you don't get pulled over that night for a drunk driving and go to jail for a felony for driving. And even if you accidentally hit John O'Keefe, but you were so drunk that it becomes a felony that has mandatory prison sentences. When you do that, when you go back to his house, when you put up a story that you are being framed and all of it has been debunked, when you do that, I believe that you're a narcissist, and that's why the interviews don't shock me. I'm sure she's going to have a book deal. She's going to have a book deal if she gets acquitted in the second case. She's going to spend the rest of her life smugly claiming that she stood up to the system and won, right? So I really hope she gets convicted in this next criminal case. I'm proud of the civil suit. I think the civil suit is going to, even if she gets acquitted in the second case, that civil case, she's going to get found responsible for his murder in the civil case. Again, a prediction by me, and she's going to spend the rest of her life paying tens of millions of dollars or getting her bank account seized or real estate seized. I think this woman's got some problems for the rest of her life that she created with her own narcissism.
All right, well, that's your opinion and your legal analysis, but you know that's why this case has divided so many, right? Because there was troubling things done in that investigation, and quite frankly, her theories haven't been debunked because she wasn't acquitted, but she also wasn't found guilty. She's going to face a second trial, and the first trial ended in a mistrial because they couldn't decide what really happened, right? But the news here today out of Massachusetts is with the civil case. She will not be deposed before the second criminal trial in January.